Today's video is inspired by a conversation I had with a colleague a couple of days ago, and I was asked, what does it mean when you do a visualization meditation, a guided meditation, and you see nothing? It's all black. And this isn't the first time I've been asked that, and thus it inspired this video. So let's unpack and see what that actually means for you. Let's get to it. Hi and welcome to Oak Law Door. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Clairvoyance. For those that are returning subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as I said in the very quick intro, what does it mean if when you close your eyes, when you're meditating, all you see is black? And as I said in the intro as well, this isn't the first time this question has come up. Now for me, I can't say that this is absolute fact, but I can share my experiences, I can share what I've learned along my journey, and that is it can happen for three main reasons. The first being that there is trauma that had you shut down your imagination, that had you shut down that third eye when you were younger, for whatever reason, whatever that trauma looks like. And so that may be your first reason. The second reason is that you're just not a visual person. You don't see things. Now, I'm very imaginative, everything, even when I'm reading a book, I'm the type of person when I'm reading it, I will play the scene out using the words that are on the page, and I have a whole movie going on in my head as I'm reading through that book. That's why I get very frustrated when a really good book is then made into a movie. I very rarely watch it because I get really frustrated because it wasn't how I imagined it when I read the book. It wouldn't be how I would produce that into a movie. A lot of that is to do, when you look at the brain, we are left hemisphere, right hemisphere, and some people are more logical, some people are more artistic. And so that takes us on to the third aspect, where we just need to address the imbalance within those two hemispheres of our mind. It's bringing in, allowing ourselves, giving ourselves the permission to do more artistic things so that we can build up that right hemisphere and that artistry within ourselves, whatever that looks like, so that we can actually open that box of imagination rather than constantly applying logic. Going back to the second one, let's not negate that, yes, okay, when we talk about meditations, that very often, and I'm guilty of it when I've done recorded meditations, visualize this, visualize that, visualize the other, but visualization is just a term, it's not an actuality. It can be, but very often it is meant just as a term. Because when we're talking about spirituality, when we're talking about our innate connection to those unseen realms, but they could be unseen, they are unseen. We see them in our third eye, but you might already be seeing them through feeling them, or through knowing them, or through hearing them. So if you're in a meditation and all you get is blankness, use your other senses. It may be that, yes, your third eye is closed and you need to open that up by doing more artistic things, by practicing your meditation, by healing whatever had you close it down and not want to open it again, because that's usually the case. Is we see something that we really don't understand, especially as children, that we you know, our brains are not fully evolved. And so if we can't understand it and it frightens us, we can shut it down and we can vow that we're never going to open that. So it's about sitting with yourself and knowing where you are on that journey. What are the possibilities of that blackness for you? When you're looking at trauma, when you're looking at childhood stuff, don't fall into the realm of thinking all trauma has to be something really chaotic, really horrible, really terrifying. Sometimes it can be, especially if we're sensitive souls, it can be a very harshly spoken word. When it comes to us as children, if there are things that we don't understand, and if we've been around people that have taught us to fear the things that we don't understand, then that will increase your fear as a child and make that incident more traumatic than it would be for another child of your age, maybe, that didn't have parents that were fearful or didn't have caregivers that were fearful of the unknown. So it's about keeping a perspective with that, keeping that knowledge and that understanding now as an adult with that, rather than kind of going straight for there is some deep trauma here. Now, it may be that there is, and if there is, then go get yourself some help. You don't need to sit with that any longer. That was then, and if it's still affecting you now, then go and get the help and get that cleared out. You don't have to dig into it and go down a whole, some people might want to, but you don't have to go down the whole path of raking it all up. But what you do need is to get rid of that energetic imprint of fear for that given situation, and that can be done by many other modalities where you don't have to discuss the situation. Again, it's courses for horses. Where are you going to be most comfortable with dealing with this? How are you going to be mindful and caring and compassionate to yourself with dealing with this? As I said, I've always been a very visual person. I cannot close my eyes and just see darkness. When I close my eyes, the first thing that I actually see, the only thing that is black when I close my eyes, is a little box. But even around that little black square box is a glow of light. And I know when I was a child, I would always have, and I love them, I don't even know if they still do them, but the kaleidoscopes with all the geometric shapes that get made out of glitter. And I used to just do that by closing my eyes, and I'd have all these shapes going off and all these different colours, and I would just kind of like, and I was able to do that. That's me. You may see or you may be traditionally artistic, as in painting, and so you may see a landscape, you may see the colours and the hues of the colours, which I'm always very envious of, because although I see them and I appreciate them, I'm not able to vocalize a description or to even kind of say, well, that little bit is that kind of pink and that little bit is that kind of pink and that little bit is that kind of pink or orange, or and then how it blends. The key message of this video is we are all different. And if you truly are challenged by visualization, meditation, then don't do it. If you want to master it, then do it bit by bit, but not to the extent where you become frustrated with yourself, and not to the extent where you think that there's something missing in you, because there are many, many, many different ways of meditating. Going for a walk in the woods and just connecting with nature, hearing the birds, seeing the landscape, and as I just said, seeing all the different colours within that landscape. Or if you're more logically minded, seeing the landscape itself and the way it's actually constructed. Meditation is just about relaxation. Not being so busy in the mind that you can actually connect with the natural order. You can connect with the rhythms of vibration that run through everything. And you won't always know, you may not be clairsentient that you can feel that, but if you start connecting in a way that is familiar with you at the moment, with the way, what is the most predominant part in of your mind, the way your mind is made up. If you start connecting that first and being mindful of kind of putting work and social life and family things all to one side and just connecting to wherever you are and using your mind to see things that you wouldn't normally take notice of, or hear things that you wouldn't normally hear or take notice of, or smell things that you wouldn't normally smell or take notice of. Sense things. And that's a beautiful one when you're out walking, because I have many, my first clair that I opened up was clairsentient. That was the strongest within me. I've always been able to feel the energies. And so when I'm out walking, before I even turn a corner, I know if there's going to be a little critter out there to see, and so I'm able to adapt the way I'm walking. I'm not going to say I'm so stealth that I can creep up on them, but I'm kind of, I can be mindful that I do actually get to see them. Meditation is about you and your connection, and the way you do that will be absolutely unique to you. When first learning to meditate, it's advisable to play to your strongest strength. So if you know you feel things, then use meditations that have you feeling things. And if that meditation is a walk, so that you can feel the energies of the land, or you can feel the energies of a place that you've gone to. If you are very alert and hear things, and when I say hear things, it's not like somebody's talking to you. Sometimes we can hear things between what is being said. So play to that. Use meditations that are going to work for you, so that you can build and strengthen your connection to the divine. And with time, those bits that you possibly feel are missing at the moment, they're not really missing. They're just not in the forefront. They're just not the strongest. They will start to come forward. They will start to show themselves to you. And be aware when that happens. It can be a little bit disconcerting. I know when I forget what they call it when you smell. It's Claire something. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But when I first started smelling things, I was kind of going all day going, which is like, this is really odd. I was saying to people, am I going mad? What can you smell? Can you So just be aware of that. They can be a little bit, if you hear things or if you don't normally see things and you start seeing things at the corner of your eye, that can be a little bit disconcerting. Be aware of that. And that's why it's so important about building up such a special relationship with yourself. It's not about, oh, me, self, which so many people that want to take you off the spiritual path will tell you, oh, well, yeah, they're selfish, they're conceited, they're this, they're that. It's not about that. It's not about the me. It's about really getting to know yourself so that you can trust yourself, so that when these aspects of yourself open up, they don't catch you completely off guard. And even if they do catch you a little bit off guard, you can kind of like, oh, what was that? You can take a breath and go, it's okay. I'm safe. I'm absolutely safe and supported in this journey. And you can say that with absolute truth because you've taken the time to get to know yourself, to learn to trust yourself and trust that you're safe. So I hope that answers the question. It's not that anything's wrong with you. If you don't see, you're just not a visual person at this moment, and that is fine. Sometimes that can be because of trauma and you shut it down. Sometimes it's because you have had such a busy, active adult life, you've forgotten how to use your imagination. So the first question you should be asking yourself if you can't see is, did I use my imagination as a kid? And if you did, then it's just reconnecting yourself to that. Do what feels right and comfortable for yourself. The important thing is taking the time out and just giving yourself the space to bring in the natural world, which is all meditation is giving ourselves space to connect to ourselves and the natural world. And so how you do that will be a very unique journey for you. So I'm going to finish it there. Take care, beautiful souls. If you've liked the video, hit that like button. If you've not yet subscribed, then subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos go up. Until next time, blessings.